Golden Radio Hour.
This is the Man in Black. I'm very happy to step over from the soundstage of Suspense, stand in for my fellow scare master of ceremonies, Peter Lorre. Mr. Lorre had to attend a special conclave of the International Association of Witches, Goons, and Creeps, of which he is a charter member. So I am here in his place, opening the doors of the Mystery Playhouse. Tonight, the Mystery Playhouse has been fortunate enough to secure the services of that light-hearted raconteur of murder, horror, and the supernatural, the laughing boy of the inner sanctum, Raymond. Raymond's been telling about the horrible things that happen to other people for a long time now, and getting a huge bang out of it. But tonight, the tables are turned, and he finds himself on the receiving end, which seems like poetic justice indeed. I think it might prove interesting to find out how Raymond's much vaunted sense of humor survives the acid test. So follow me to the home of the squeaking door, the little house of 1,000 horrors, the inner sanctum.
Good evening, friends. This is your host, Raymond. Welcome to the squeaking door of the inner sanctum. For those of you who write in to find out why our door squeaks so much, I guess now is good time as any to explain that the hinges are rusty with dried blood. Through that door pass the most beautiful ghouls in the world. Won't you come in? Well, friends, are you ready? Good. Now remember, if you must scream, do it with your mouth closed, so you won't annoy the rest of your family. You know, you don't need dark old houses or murky graveyards to feel the chilly presence of beings from the other world. Last week, just after I completed my broadcast, I was called to the telephone. And I picked up the receiver. I heard...
Hello, is that you, Raymond?
Yes.
Are you going to be at home tonight?
Yes, why do you ask?
Because I'm going to drop by. Something I want to ask you about. Try to be alone.
Who are you?
Don't you remember me?
Well, the voice is familiar, but I can't quite place it.
I'm Gideon Blake. I'll see you later, Ray. Goodbye.
Now, there's nothing unusual about a call like that, except one thing. 10 years ago, my friend Gideon Blake was killed. I was sure that call was some joke. I remember laughing about it as I sat down in my living room with sandwich and basket milk. But later that night, I must have dozed off. I remember being awakened by the tower clock chiming. It was midnight. Somewhere a cat howled against the moaning wind that had sprung up. Strange chill and a shudder through my body. Front door must have blown open. I went to see. Standing there was Gideon Blake.
Good evening, Raymond.
Blake.
You shouldn't be so surprised. I told you I was coming.
Yes? You've changed so.
It's been a long time. More than 10 years, I believe.
But I don't understand. You were burned to death. How on earth did you come back?
There are many things which you will never understand while you're alive and on this earth.
Why'd you come here?
To give you this piece of paper.
Huh? What's on it?
The names of 4 persons. They are alive now. In a short time, they will all be dead.
I looked at him carefully as he talked. He looked hideous, ugly, with horrible burns on his face. The man had the look, touch, the very smell of death.
Good night, Raymond.
I looked at the slip of paper my friend Gideon had given me. There were 4 names.
Stella Marlowe, Robert Lane, Amelia Cardway, Raymond Edward Johnson.
The first 3 names I didn't know. The last was very familiar to me. It was my own name.
Sit down.
Thanks, Inspector Dorr.
Cigar?
No, thanks. What about that piece of paper I gave you?
How'd you get it?
I told you.
Look, I'm a cop, Raymond. When I believe a story like that one, you can call the little men in the white coats.
Oh. No, I'm sorry I bothered you, Inspector. Let's forget it.
I can't forget it.
Why?
Because Blake wrote that note.
Are you sure?
We checked the handwriting. It's his. So are the fingerprints we found on it.
How do you figure it?
I don't yet. I am waiting for you
I
to
told
tell
you
me.
everything. Hey, wait a minute. Maybe Blake's really alive.
He got burned to death 10 years ago.
Are you sure?
Positive. We checked every angle of his death at that time because we thought he might have been murdered.
Murdered? I never heard about that.
Oh, Blake was with the department, you remember, working on a homicide case. The Laura Wilcox case, you remember?
Oh, vaguely.
We figured someone might have polished him off, but nobody did. It was an accident.
Was this Wilcox murder ever solved?
Well, no.
Maybe those names I gave you had something to do with the Wilcox case. Why don't you check them?
I did. None of your names figure. These people never heard of the Wilcox murder.
Hey, Inspector.
Yeah, what do you want, Gibson?
Weren't you interested in some information about a dame named Stella Marlowe?
Yeah. She was the first name on that list you gave me, Ray. What about her?
I just came through on the ticker. Stella Marlowe was found dead. Murdered.
Hello?
That you, Ray?
Mm-hmm.
This is Inspector Doyle. We're trying to get you all day.
Oh, I just got in. I've been down to the police library studying the file on the Wilcox case.
All right, forget about that. Now listen, I want you to lock your door and all the windows. I'm sending down a red-headed cop to guard you.
What?
Don't let any dark-haired guy into your house, even if he's your own best friend.
What's this all about?
We're dealing with a homicidal maniac. The body of Stella Marlowe was dismembered.
Remember.
Tell my man to call me at headquarters when he arrives. Goodbye.
Just after I hung up the phone, I noticed a little black box on the living room table. How it got there, I don't know, because my house was locked all day. I undid the black ribbon, opened it. What I saw inside fascinated and horrified me. It was a human hand. Suddenly a thought clicked in my mind. I recognized something on the hand.
Hello, Inspector Doyle speaking.
Inspector, this is Ray Johnson.
Yeah, what is it?
Did you ever find out what happened to Stella Wilcox?
Huh?
She's the stepdaughter of the murdered Laura Wilcox.
Why do you want to know?
Well, she was suspected of the murder for a time.
Listen, will you drop that angle?
Will you just answer 1 or 2 questions? Did the killer dismember the whole body in the Stella Marlowe murder?
Just the hands. Fine.
Did she have on a large diamond ring, the 3rd finger on the left hand?
Yes. Her friends say she wore it all the time, but how do you...
I've got it here. Someone sent me a hand with a ring on it.
What?
And get this, there's a name engraved inside the ring. The name is Laura Wilcox.
What?
There's a scar on the thumb. There was a scar on the left thumb of Stella Wilcox's print in your file. I took a fingerprint. The prints on the hand and the fingerprints of Stella Wilcox are identical.
Are you sure?
Yes. Stella Marlowe and Stella Wilcox are the same person.
Did you find anything else there?
Yes. Black hair on the fingernails.
I'm coming down to your place as fast as I can get there. Goodbye.
Goodbye. The front door slammed a second after I hung up. I turned around. Coming toward me was a man with jet black hair. You know, I can face sudden, horrible death when it happens to other people, but when it happened to me... Well, the man with the jet black hair looked quietly at me and said...
I'm Robert Lane. You're Raymond Edward Johnson, I believe?
Yes.
Inspector Doyle spoke to me about you. Can I sit down? What do you make of all this?
I don't know what to make of it.
You heard what happened to Stella Marlowe?
Yes.
Did you know that's not her real name?
Yes, she was the stepdaughter of Laura Wilcox, but I do know.
I think I know more about this than you imagine.
Is your name really Robert Lane?
Why?
There was a chauffeur in the Wilcox home, a man named Lowry. I wonder if...
There's no harm in telling you now. Yeah, I'm that chauffeur.
And Amelia Cardway?
She was Mrs. Wilcox's maid. You know, Johnson, the murder of Stella didn't come exactly as a surprise to me.
Why?
She poisoned her stepmother with the help of the maid, Amelia Cardway.
But why am I involved in all this?
Let's not fool each other. Somehow you discovered that Stella murdered her stepmother. But after 10 years, you can't dig up any evidence, and you know it. So you invent this wild story about Gideon Blake. Just the right sort of psychological scare to frighten the two women into making a move that'll give them away. Very clever.
Just a moment. What color is the hair of Amelia Cardway?
Blonde. Pretty shade of blonde, in fact. Very attractive girl 10 years ago. Oh, what's in the box?
I advise you not to look.
I rarely follow the advice of other people. Oh. Where'd you get this?
Someone left it here this evening.
That ring. Old Lady Wilcox gave that to Stella on her 18th birthday. That's the hand of Stella. I understand why you asked about the hair, Johnson. The hair under the fingernails is black, just like mine.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't be surprised if an analysis showed that it was mine.
And you killed it.
The point is that I don't intend to give up my life to amuse you and your little crime hobby.
What do you mean?
You're going to learn about crime, Raymond, through a direct personal experience. I'm going to kill you.
Let go of me,
He was a powerful man. His blow dazed me. I struck my head against the furniture. I lay down on the floor dazed. Like a slow-motion picture, I saw Lane approach and lean over me. A long knife in his hand.
You didn't expect to stir up this hornet's nest, did you? Crime and murder is very amusing, isn't it? Well, you'll find out just how funny it is.
I saw him raise his arm. I was powerless. He was driving the knife down. Suddenly...
Let go. Grab my hand. I did. Gideon Blake. Yes.
I heard him scream. Somewhere the door slammed. And I blacked out.
Here, get up. Right. There you are. You're okay now. Come on, get up.
Inspector Doyle.
Hey, what happened here? We found you on the floor, out like a light.
It was Lane, the Wilcox chauffeur. He tried to kill me.
Lane? Lane's dead. There's the body.
Huh?
Did you kill him, Ray?
No. Where does Amelia Cardway live?
A few miles from here. Why?
We've got to get over there right away. She killed the old lady, and she might have killed Stella, too.
I don't see how Amelia Cardway could have done it. Maybe you'll tell me next that Gideon Blake did it.
I don't know. Gideon Blake didn't have a hair on his head.
Besides, he's dead. I never arrest a dead man for the crime of murder. You can't get confessions on him.
Perhaps Lane did go to see Stella shortly before she was killed. They were all in this together.
Yeah?
They told you they didn't know each other to protect themselves.
Now, that still doesn't explain how the hand got to your place, or why Gideon Blake came back from the dead, or why we found those black hairs under the fingernails.
I've got an idea about the hand.
Yeah?
I think it was dismembered so that you would never know that Stella Marlowe was Stella Wilcox.
Huh?
She changed her appearance, but she couldn't change her fingerprints.
Well, then who left it at your place, and why? And why should you be on the murder list?
Don't remind me of that, please.
Well, here's Amelia Cardway's cottage. Maybe we'll get some of the answers here. Come on. What? Inspector.
Help!
You hear that? Yeah. Come on, follow me, Ray.
Inspector Doyle had his gun out and was running into the house. I followed a few steps behind. In a moment, I was in the living room. Doyle was standing there.
Well, what happened? Why did you scream for help?
In an old chair sat what was once an attractive woman. Her blonde hair was streaked with gray, but the face was a mask of terror. I recognized her from the picture in the police file. It was the former maid of Laura Wilcox, Amelia Cardway.
Yes, Mrs. Wilcox. In just a minute. Come in, Mrs. Wilcox.
What's the matter with her?
Yeah, she's cracked or delirious. Just keeps sitting there like that, mumbling.
You can't live with secrets. Someone will find out. I'm glad they found out. Now she'll never come to see me again, never.
Yeah, well, who came to see you?
Mrs. Wilcox. I didn't want to give her that medicine. I knew it was poison, but Stella made me. She made me. And so did he, the chauffeur.
Getting out of the chair, Inspector.
Look, there's a knife in her back. Miss Cardway.
There she is, at the top of the stairs. Mrs. Wilcox.
Where? At the top of the stairs, Inspector. Look, it's Laura Wilcox.
I'll tell everything, Mrs. Wilcox. We were all in on it together. Stella, the chauffeur, and me. I didn't want to do it. Forgive me.
I'm going upstairs. You look after Ray.
The moment he reached the bottom steps, Mrs. Wilcox disappeared. I stooped over the Cardway woman. She was dead. A burst of pistol fire came from the upstairs part of the house. A moment later, Inspector Doyle came tumbling down the stairs, the gun still in his hand. He was unconscious. I looked up. At the top of the stairs stood Mrs. Laura Wilcox. She said nothing, but calmly came down, holding the poker she had struck the inspector with. She bent down, took out the knife from the body of the dead Amelia Cardway. I was too startled, too frightened to move. Suddenly the woman took off her hat, her wig, and there stood Gideon Blake.
You'd better go now, Raymond.
I don't understand that disguise.
Look there. The entrance to the dining room.
Fire.
Yes. Fire. You'd best leave at once. Those flames are spreading rapidly. Take Inspector Doyle with you. Blake, hurry. Yours is the last name on my list, you know.
He didn't have to say any more. I dragged the inspector through the door. Gideon Blake turned, smiled at me, and walked directly into the flames. That was the last I ever saw of him.
I found the missing pieces of the jigsaw puzzle.
Hmm?
Laura Wilcox was a twin sister of Gideon Blake. We dug up the birth records.
Mm-hmm. So, that's why she looked so familiar.
And that's why he murdered the three people. Because they killed his sister. He faked his own death in order to carry out justice himself.
Yes, but that still doesn't explain why I was brought into it.
Huh?
A bit.
That's simple. He wanted us to know what was going on so that we didn't hold some innocent person.
Mm-hmm. Just one more question.
Yeah, go ahead.
How did Blake fake his own death 10 years ago?
Now, we don't know exactly, but he must have done it.
Did you find his body in the ashes of Amelia Cardway's cottage?
Well, I guess they're there, but, it's impossible to identify them positively.
Yeah, that leaves one other explanation.
What's that?
That Gideon Blake actually died 10 years ago. A word of advice, naturally. When you get killed, don't let your murderer slice your hands off.
But then you can never put the finger on it.
Good night. Pleasant dreams.
You have been listening to an Inner Sanctum mystery starring Raymond Edward Johnson. Tonight's presentation in the Mystery Playhouse. At this point in our program, Peter Lorre tells me we usually go to the green room for a preview performance of our next Mystery Playhouse attraction.
Colgate Tooth Powder presents Inner Sanctum Mysteries. Good evening, friends of the Inner Sanctum. This is your host, Raymond, inviting you in through the squeaking door. Well, it's so nice of you to come here tonight and help me sit up with the corpse. He's such dull company, so cold and stiff, bored with being dead. All the life seems to have gone out of him. What? You say you've seen him before? Oh, no, he's not that horror man who plays in pictures. But he does look like him. So much so, in fact, you might even call him a dead ringer. Tonight's Inner Sanctum Mystery, Voice on the Wire, is an original radio drama by Robert Sloan and stars Miss Leslie Woods in the role of Geraldine Reeves. It's produced under the direction of Hyman Brown.
Use Colgate tooth powder. Keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it at night. Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Romance. What is romance? Romance is the light on the path of love, but a light so delicate that even a breath may put it out. Even a breath. You'd hate that to happen to you, wouldn't you? Well, don't let a breath of trouble ruin your romance. Don't let unpleasing breath offend the one you love. I tell you what, brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder. Because scientific tests have definitely proved that in 7 cases out of 10, Colgate tooth powder instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. And let me add, Colgate tooth powder is the only tooth powder that offers proof of this fact. And then, too, Colgate tooth powder cleans your teeth beautifully. No amount of money can buy you a dentifrice that will clean your teeth more quickly and thoroughly. Remember the name Colgate tooth powder, with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
No doubt the telephone is an ingenious invention, but as far as I know, no one as yet has been able to commit murder over it, although many people have wanted to. Still, there are worse things you can get on the phone than the wrong number, especially if you happen to call the voice on the wire. On a long, narrow island, just off the shore of one of our larger lakes, Mrs. Geraldine Reeves, widow of the late composer David Reeves, lives alone in a gaunt, gray shingled house. Only a few hundred yards away are the charred remains of her former home, where David was burned to death in a fire just 2 years ago. It's after dinner now, and as the clock in the hall strikes 8.
You've got to get hold of yourself, Geraldine.
I can't help it, Doctor. You see, it starts every night about this time.
What starts?
The music. David's last composition. I hear it being played on a piano. And the notes seem to come from the old house, the house where David died in the fire.
Well, perhaps someone is playing that piece on the piano. Someone on the island.
No. No, there's only one other house out here, and those people are away. And the dog. The dog keeps howling all night long.
What dog?
I don't know. There's no dog on the island, but David and I did have a dog. You remember? He stayed with David the night of the fire. He died with him because David was too ill to get out of bed. There it is again.
It's amazing. That's a real dog. Somewhere on this island.
Oh. Do you think so?
Why, of course. Probably some stray got across the bridge or swam over from the shore.
Well, you see, Oh, excuse me, Doctor.
Certainly.
Hello?
Hello? Mrs. Geraldine Reeves.
Yes, speaking. Who is this?
Listen.
Good heavens.
You have 4 hours to live, Mrs. Reeves. 4 hours to live.
What? What did you say? Hello? Hello?
What's the matter, Geraldine?
The music. The same music. I heard it again.
What?
Over the phone. Someone's playing it on the piano.
It must be some sort of a
No,
prank.
no. A man spoke to me. He said I have 4 hours to live.
4 hours to... Here. Let me have that phone.
No, it's no use. He's rung off.
Well, we might be able to trace the call. Hello, operator. Operator.
Somebody's trying to kill me.
Hello, operator. Operator.
What's wrong, Doctor?
I'm afraid the wires have been cut. We'd better get into my car and drive into town right away.
Yes, it isn't safe for me to stay here another minute.
Can't understand it. The motor won't turn over. Somebody must have meddled with this car while we were in the house.
Well, try my car, Doctor.
I think perhaps I'd better. Is it in the garage?
Yes, Great heavens, it's gone. The garage is empty. The car's been stolen.
Now, let's not lose our heads, Geraldine.
But-
We're not completely cut off yet. We can't use a car. We can still walk.
But it's almost a mile to the bridge, and the road is so dark down along the water.
It won't be too dark with a flashlight. We can go down through the woods to the edge of the water and walk along the shore.
Oh, wait a minute.
What's the matter?
I just remembered. David's brother's driving out here tonight.
Harvey?
Yes, and his wife, Laura. They said they'd be here by 8:30, and if we wait for them, they can take us back in their car. What do you think, Doctor?
That's safer than trying to make it alone. If we wait right here, perhaps we can watch the bridge and see them coming. Heaven's sake, Geraldine. What are you staring at?
The bridge, Doctor. The bridge, look. This end of it's been washed out. Oh, Doctor, this is crazy, searching for a telephone wire in back of the house. If we're seen out here, there's no telling what might happen.
Please, Geraldine. We've got to find out where that wire was cut and splice it together again. It's our only chance of reaching the police.
But it's almost 9 o'clock. We've wasted an hour already. If I'm not out of here by 12...
Stop it, Geraldine. Stop it.
Oh. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to. What's that?
It's the dog again. That confounded dog is tied up around here somewhere.
No, I didn't mean that. I meant the light on the road. There's a strange light on the road.
The headlight of a car. Coming this way.
A car?
Yes. Quick. Behind the house and stay out of sight. It's turning into the driveway.
How could a car have come out onto the island with that bridge out?
Shh. They're getting out.
Oh! Why, it's Harvey and Laura.
Good heavens.
Oh, Harvey!
Hello?
Harvey! Oh, Harvey.
Pete's sake.
Oh.
Jerry, what are you doing? Playing hide and seek with us back there?
Oh, Harvey, I'm so glad you've come.
Jerry, what's the matter?
Oh, everything. But first you've got to tell us how you got here.
Why, we just drove over the bridge and on up the road the way we always do.
But how could you drive over the bridge? It's been washed out.
What?
Well, I saw it with my own eyes, and Dr. Pricing saw it too, didn't you, Doctor?
I certainly did.
Oh, you must be mistaken. We drove over the bridge not more than 2 minutes ago.
Are you sure you haven't been on the island longer than that?
Well, I'm positive. Why?
Well, some very strange things have been happening here tonight. Geraldine's life was threatened, her car stolen, and mine tampered with.
What?
What are you talking about?
Look, I'll show you. The starter in my car won't even turn the motor over. Here. By George. It's working now.
Say, what is this, Jerry? Have you and the doctor been taking a few pills? Did you drink too much wine at dinner?
Oh, no. Everything he said is true. Even the telephone wires have been... I must be going out of my mind. That is my telephone ringing, isn't it?
Yes, of course. Well, aren't you going to answer it?
Well, almost afraid to. Come with me, Harvey, will you, while I do?
Sure.
Hello?
Hello. Mrs. Reeves.
Yes?
Listen. It's 9 o'clock, Mrs. Reeves. You have 3 hours to live.
I can't stand this waiting, this endless waiting. Why don't the police come?
Easy now, Jerry. They'll be here. You only phoned them a few minutes ago.
Something can happen before they get here.
I have a gun ready, just in case anything should happen. And I won't hesitate to use it.
You have a gun, Doctor?
Why, yes. Geraldine gave it to me before you arrived.
Oh.
What's the matter? You trust me with a gun, don't you?
Why, of course.
Laura, what is it?
A face at the window. I just saw a face at the window.
Laura, please, you're letting your imagination run away with you.
No, I saw it right there. It was the face of a dead man.
Quick, Harvey. Out the back way.
Right.
No, please don't leave us.
We'll be right outside the window.
Jerry, I'm afraid. Well, there's nothing we can do, Laura. They won't be far away. But I don't trust Dr. Prizing. You never should have given him that gun. Why not? Because I think he's a murderer. Oh! Yes. Don't you remember how he acted at the trial? When you were accused of starting the fire that killed David? He testified against you time and again. Subtly. To make them think you did it. Because he started that fire himself. What on earth are you saying? I'm telling you the truth. During the trial, he swore that he wasn't on the island the night of the fire. But he was. And I can prove it. How? By this cigarette case of his. Here, look at it. You see how it's charred and melted on the side where his initials were? He must have left it in the fire that night, by mistake. But he couldn't have. The police searched everything the next morning. They would have found it in the ashes. Not if it wasn't there. He came back for it that same night, as soon as he missed it, and dragged it out of the fire. He knew it would incriminate him if it were found in his possession, so he threw it into the lake as he drove home over the bridge. And that's where we found it, in the water. The last time we were out here. Oh, Laura, I hope you're wrong. So do I. But if I'm right, we're all in for... Laura! The lights! Somebody's cut off the lights! Laura! Laura, where are you? Carry the door! Coming through the door, it's the face I saw! Laura! Laura! It was meant to be me, Harvey. Whoever came through that door intended to kill me.
Jerry, please. How is Laura, Doctor?
I'm afraid I can't do anything for her, Harvey. She's passed on.
Oh. Laura. Laura, darling.
You'd better not touch the body, Harvey.
Oh, leave me alone. You've done enough already, Dr. Prizing.
I beg your pardon?
You'll have a lot of explaining to do when the police arrive, Doctor. I'll tell them how you ran away from me out there before the lights went out, and how you were here in this room when they went on again.
Harvey, don't say things you'll regret later on.
Just a moment. Where is the cigarette case Laura had in her hand when the lights went out?
What cigarette case?
You know the one I mean, Dr. Prizing. The gold one that was charred in the fire.
I haven't the faintest idea what you're talking about.
I have. And if you're as innocent as you claim to be, you won't mind being searched.
Not at all. Go right ahead.
I will.
Whom are you calling, Geraldine?
The police. Can't understand why they haven't arrived yet. It's almost 10 o'clock.
Maybe something's happened to them on the way. Maybe their car broke down.
Their car, too?
Huh?
Nothing. Only it seems as if your car is the only one that works when you want it to.
Headquarters.
Oh, Sergeant. Sergeant, I can't understand why your men aren't here yet. A murder's been committed.
Do you think you've been calling the police department all this time, Mrs. Reeves?
David's music.
It's 10 o'clock, Mrs. Reeves. You have 2 more hours.
Are you in your room?
Yes, Harvey. What is it?
This is our chance, Jerry. We've got to run away from Dr. Pricing now, while we're alone.
Yes, of course, Harvey, but how will we go?
In my car. It's just... Wait a minute. Listen.
What is it?
It sounds like footsteps in the living room. Pricing must be in there.
No, I saw him go outside. He said he wanted to see if he could find the dog.
Well, there's someone in there. I'm going to find out who it is.
Be careful, Harvey. He may be standing just outside the door.
Yeah. All right. You stay behind me.
Is anybody there? Is anybody in the living room?
No. There doesn't seem to
Don't
be.
overlook me, Harvey.
Well, Dr. Pricing, you've been standing at this door with your ear to the keyhole?
No, not exactly.
I thought you were supposed to be outside, looking for that dog.
I was outside for a while. But I saw someone moving around in here, so I came back. When I got here, your wife's body was gone.
What?
Gone? Laura's body is gone?
I assume that it's gone. It's not where it was on the floor.
But how could it... Look here, Pricey. You were alone in this room.
And so were you. After I left. Wasn't it, Geraldine?
Well, yes, now that I think back, he was.
Certainly. What's more, Geraldine saw me leave the house. And when I left, the body was still here. After that, I don't know what happened.
What are you driving at?
Draw your own conclusions. I've drawn mine.
Why, you...
Harvey, stop it! Stop it!
I'm sorry, Jerry. I just...
The dog again.
Yeah. I can't understand why you didn't find that dog, Dr. Pricing. He must be right out there where the old house used to be.
Well, if you think you can find him, why don't you go? Good heavens, man.
What?
Look. There's a fire burning out there.
On the grounds of the old house.
Pricing, you started that fire yourself, and you're burning Laura's body in it to cover up your crime.
Harvey, where are you going?
I'm going to the fire, Jerry. I've got to stop it. I've got to put it out.
I'm going to lose my mind if someone doesn't stop these awful things from happening. Won't anybody help us?
Easy, Geraldine. The man who hopes to kill you was trying to break you down first. It's part of his plan. Here. Take a sip of this brandy. It'll help you.
All right, thank you, Doctor.
What's the matter?
Oh, nothing, really. I just don't care for any brandy just now.
What's wrong with it?
Well, I didn't say anything was wrong with it. I just don't...
You fool. Do you think I'm trying to poison you?
I don't know what to think.
Here. Give me that brandy. I'll drink it myself. There. Believe me now?
I don't believe anyone.
Listen to me, Geraldine. I'm the best friend you have in the world right now. You've got to understand that. Because there isn't much more time. We've got to get away from Harvey while he's still out there.
What do you mean?
Can't you see? He's trying to kill you.
That's a lie.
It isn't, Geraldine. Harvey's the one that's lied to us. He and Laura both. They intended to kill you when the lights went out. But in the darkness, Harvey made a fatal mistake. He thought it was you he was strangling, not Laura.
I won't believe
It's
that.
the truth. They never drove across that bridge at 9 o'clock tonight. They've been here on the island all evening.
How do you know?
Because we saw that bridge with our own eyes. And I saw it again just 5 minutes ago. It's still down.
You're lying.
Come out and see it for yourself.
You're just trying to get me out of this house.
Stop being such a fool. Here. Take this gun. If it'll give you any security, take it. And hold it in my back while we're out there. But for heaven's sakes, let's get away from Harvey while there's still a chance.
All right. Give me the gun.
Here.
Now, you keep in front of me all the time. And I'm warning you. If you make one false move, I'll kill you in cold blood.
You see, Harvey and Laura were lying to us. The bridge is still down.
You're right. They couldn't have come across that bridge.
Of course not. The only trouble is, we can't get back over it now either.
We've got to get away, Doctor, now, before we're seen.
What about that house at the other end of the island?
People are away.
But they might have a boat.
Yes, of course they do have a boat. We can row to the mainland. Come on, quick.
All right.
I have a feeling we're being followed.
It's your imagination. Hurry, Geraldine. Hurry.
We are being followed, Doctor. Look behind us. There's a man with a dog.
Good heavens. It's just like the dog you owned. The one that died in the fire.
Yes. And the man. It's Dave.
We've lost them. Lost them in the woods.
They can't be far behind.
Doesn't matter now. The house is just ahead.
But the boat, Doctor. The boat's not at the landing.
It must be.
Oh, it isn't. Can't you see it isn't?
Perhaps it's around and back.
No, that side of the house faces the road.
And we'll have to break in and hide here until morning. Our best chance is to be inside, where we can protect ourselves. After all, you still have a gun.
But I hardly know how to use it.
Then give it to me.
No.
You still don't trust me, do you?
I don't know, Doctor. But I'm the one who's been threatened, so I really should have the gun.
Very well. Wait here. I'll break through the window and come around on the inside.
Did you hurt yourself?
No. I'm all right. Just wait there for me and I'll unlock the door.
Oh, hurry, Doctor, please. Hurry. They're on our trail again.
Come inside, Geraldine. Quickly. And lock the door behind you.
What's wrong, Doctor?
Nothing's wrong. We're in luck. There's a phone here. If it hasn't been disconnected. Hello. Hello, operator.
This isn't the operator. Tell Mrs. Reeves it's 11 o'clock. She has one more hour to live.
11.
I won't leave this house. I'm not going to run away any longer. If they're going to kill me, let them come here and do it. Only for heaven's sakes, why don't they do it right away? Why don't they come here and get it over with instead of waiting until 12 o'clock?
Geraldine, please.
Well, I can't stand it any longer. I'd rather die than go through any more of this torture. I just can't.
Sit down for a moment. Relax. And try to ease your mind.
Oh, for... Dr. Prizing, what are you doing?
Playing the piano. I thought it might relax you.
But that melody... You're the one I hear at night, playing David's music. Playing it right here in this house.
Yes, Geraldine. I've rented this house to protect you from David and the dog.
Well, stop it. Stop playing that piece. Stop it. Now stay where you are.
Don't be afraid. I won't harm you. As long as you have that gun. But the gun won't stop David.
David's dead.
Is he? Listen. He's right outside the door. And in a moment, he'll be here to take you with him.
No.
Yes, Geraldine. I've come back to see you. In spite of everything you've done.
Stop!
You killed me, didn't you, darling? You started that fire because you knew I was too much of an invalid to get out of bed.
Stay where you are!
You hated me, Geraldine.
Stop!
No. Your bullets can't harm me now. Nothing you can do can harm me. Because I'm dead and you're still alive.
Oh, David. David, forgive me. I didn't know what I was doing that night. Please believe me. I was sorry as soon as I'd started that fire, but it was too late then. I couldn't put it out. I couldn't.
How dare you ask my forgiveness when you're still lying?
But I'm not lying. I'm not. I told you everything.
Why didn't you tell the police?
Because I wanted to live.
You'll confess everything now?
Yes, David, yes, I will. If you'll only leave me alone, please. It was my cigarette case Laura found in the water. I'd thrown it over the bridge that same night after I took it out of the fire.
Well, I guess that's all we need, Harvey. A full confession with 2 witnesses.
Harvey!
Yes, Geraldine. I do look like my brother in this dim light.
Oh.
And the dog Laura's holding outside is the same breed as the one you own.
Laura? Laura? Did you say Laura was alive?
Very much so, Geraldine. Wasn't hard for me to pretend being dead, with the doctor keeping you away from my body.
Then you were all in this together. You forced this confession out of me.
Yes, Geraldine. The blank cartridges Dr. Pricing slipped into that gun of yours really turned the trick. Oh, excuse me. Hello. Oh, hello, Inspector. Yes, it's all right now. You can hook the wires up again. She's told us the truth. And you'd better get to work on that bridge right away. It's still down.
What an outrage, all those opportunities for murder and not a drop of blood spilled all night long. Oh, well, some days you can't lay away a corpuscle. And now, a moment while our Colgate voices bring you a message.
Use Colgate tooth powder. Keep smiling just right. Use it each morning and use it at night to help you rate with every date. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Tell me, do you really mean it when you say, I want to be alone? Or are you just pretending that you don't care about dates? Could it be that a little breath of trouble has cooled your romance? A little breath? What a pity to let unpleasing breath ruin your romance. Why not brush your teeth night and morning and before every date with Colgate tooth powder? Scientific tests prove that Colgate tooth powder, in 7 cases out of 10, instantly stops unpleasing breath that originates in the mouth. So use Colgate tooth powder for all it's worth. Enjoy its exciting cleansing results, too. No amount of money can buy you a dentifrice that will clean your teeth more quickly or effectively than Colgate tooth powder. Remember the name, Colgate tooth powder, with the accent on powder.
Don't take a chance with your romance. Use Colgate tooth powder.
Well, it's time for me to join the moonbeams now. But before I leave under a cloud, before I'm missed, I thought I might pass on the moral of tonight's story. If you must light a fire under your husband's bed, be careful where you drop the ashes. By the way, this month's Inner Sanctum mystery novel is Puzzle for Puppets by Patrick Quentin. Well, now it's really time to close that there squeaking door until next week when Colgate tooth powder brings you another Inner Sanctum mystery. So until then, good night. Pleasant dreams.
Latest reports from doctors on the 14-day Palmolive plan.
Kansas City reports better complexions for 93%.
New Orleans reports better complexions for 97%.
In city after city, doctors tested the 14-day Palmolive plan on all types of skin, and 2 out of 3 of all women tested got better complexions in 14 days.
What is this 14-day Palmolive plan?
Wash your face 3 times a day with Palmolive soap. Then, each time, take 60 seconds more to massage Palmolive's lovely soft lather onto your skin as you would a cream. Then rinse. This cleansing massage with Palmolive's lather brings your skin its full beautifying effect.
See what Palmolive can do for your skin in 14 days. Remember, doctors prove Palmolive's beauty results.
Remember, another Inner Sanctum mystery next Wednesday night. This is CBS, the Columbia Broadcasting System. How do you do, friends of the Inner Sanctum? This is Raymond, your host of the Squeaking Door. Come right in. What are you staring at? Oh, him. Oh, he won't hurt you. He's been dead for years. He came here with our first program. Said nothing could scare him. I've been using him for a doorstop ever since. If I get a new one, though, his bones are showing through. My friends, did you know that this is a bad winter for our ghost friends? Oh, my, yes. There aren't enough sheets to go around, and lots of them have horrible colds. They float around just coughing and coughing their heads on. Are you all set? The Coast of Maine Express is already an hour out of Boston. It's noon of a windy November day as the New England landscape flashes past. On the train, the crowds of servicemen, doting mothers, babies, salesmen, and a man who was this day acquitted of murder because the police couldn't find the body. Richard Fenner sits alone, the suspicion of a smile tugging at thin lips that whisper what his eyes follow on the paper.
Body of Ole Sventorg, color chemist of Satan's Point, Maine, still unfound. Sventorg was known to be developing a paint formula making it possible for colorblind people to see reds and greens as normal people see them. It is believed that the chemist had the final notes for his successful formula on his person. Richard Fenner, youthful assistant, on whom Sventorg tested his pigments, admitted he may have killed Sventorg in a fit of temporary insanity induced by the experiments. He was found in a dazed condition with blood on his hands on the day of the chemist's death.
Hello, friend. Anybody sitting here? No? Good. Have a peanut?
No, thank you.
Best food in the world, peanuts. Always eat 'em. Name's Botts, friend. Jasper Botts. Travels for Goodman's Textile. Don't feel like talking, huh? Got some thinking to do? Well, that's all right. I'll just read a while.
Idiot. I've done my thinking. So many things to think about. So much for Anna and me to remember. It had been hard to convince Anna at first. Easy enough for me to say, we have to get rid of Ole. But Ole was Anna's brother. We talked it over on the cliff near the land. We have to, Anna. We have to go through with it.
Oh, Richard, there must be some other way.
The way things are now, everything's hopeless. You know that. With the paint formula cleared, we can be married.
Richard, I love you so much. I'd do anything for us. But this is...
Murder? Huh. Well, you needn't look at it that way, darling. So far as you're concerned, Ole will just disappear.
But suppose something goes wrong. Suppose you're convicted.
Not a chance. You can't convict a man for murder until you find the body. And they'll never find Ole. We must, Anna. We must.
Very well, Richard. When? When will you...
The moment Ole finishes the formula. It's almost ready now. I'll have to do it that instant to make my alibi hold. Today, tomorrow, soon, anyhow. Everything else is ready.
I love you above everything else in the world, Richard. I love you enough for even...
Have a peanut, friend? No? Oh, snoozing, huh? Traveling on trains makes some people sleepy. Not me. Been on trains all my life. Never get sleepy. Going far?
Satan's Point, Maine.
Satan's Point? Never heard of it. Must be a devil of a small place. What I said. Satan's Point. Devil of a small place. Good, huh? Have a peanut? Devil of a place. Devil of a place. Devil of a place.
Devil of a place it was that day. We went over every detail again and again until our story was perfect. A lot depended on the story we constructed. A lot depended on telling it well. I told it well.
to the police in Maine, and to the alienists in Boston. I started the story with the morning of October 11th in Ole's laboratory.
Hold on. This is my last mixture. It will be ready in a few minutes, and I want your eyes to be well rested.
Think you've got it this time, Ole?
No, there's no longer any doubt. When these pigments are mixed, I will paint a square board. It will look like a dirty green to my eyes.
And to mine?
To yours, and those of millions of others who are colorblind. Red. Red that you have only imagined till now. Red of the rose, red of a sunset, red of fire, red of blood.
I put the blindfold on. I could sense Ole's tenseness. He'd worked 15 years to make this moment arrive.
This is from all I can see. A miracle is about to take place. But I confess to one great fear.
What's that, Ole?
I'm not afraid the formula is wrong. I'm afraid for you.
For me?
Yes. I have to warn you, Richard. I don't know. No one knows what mental reaction takes place when a person who's never seen color before suddenly does.
You mean that I could be affected?
You could be. You see, red excites even normal people. It vibrates in the brain. With you.
Let's have a look, Ole.
Now, Richard, when you take the blindfold off, look straight ahead of you. The board is right before your eyes. Look, Richard. And when you do, start talking right away. I want your immediate reaction.
Okay, here goes.
Look. See, Richard. Look, it's red. Look. Hey, talk, Richard, talk.
Something I couldn't. It's hard enough to recall the little that I do. I was staring straight ahead of me at a square board. Nothing happened for a brief instant. And then I caught my breath sharply. My eyes dried. They burned. I closed them, but the patch of exquisite color seared my brain. A single hot, flashing stab of pain pierced my head. And then I felt a surging power, a physical power, grip me. And Ole's voice reached me, jabbed at me. My whole being seemed to focus on his voice. I had to choke it off. I vividly recall reaching for him across something and finding his throat. And then nothing more. Nothing but the breaking of glass and a sensation of violent action. Motion and action that lasted long after the voice stopped. Then I felt cold air lashing at me. I was carrying something limp and heavy. There's a point of rock outside the house. It juts over the sea. I stood there for I don't know how long. The first clear thing I recall is identifying Anna's voice coming towards me.
Richard! Darling, what are you doing? Richard! Your hand!
Something died in me. I sank to the ground, moaning. Anna. And I'm afraid. I'm afraid. Well, that was my story. That's what I told them all. They didn't believe me, so what? They didn't find Ole. Anna told her own story as well, about coming back from town in the station wagon, finding me on the rock with blood in my hands. In the time they searched the house and the grounds, they came close, too close, just once. It was the day they gave up the search. I was standing in the yard with the guard when the inspector called me over to the little meat house near the cliff. Well, they'd been through it before, but the inspector held something in his hand.
You sure in your day's meanderings you didn't come near this meat house, Fenner?
Well, I can't be sure of anything, Inspector. I don't think so. Why?
There's no felt hat I overlooked before. Got the initials OS stamped in it.
Ole's hat. I left it out. Was our whole plan going to be upset by a hat?
Well, Fenner,
It's Ole's. He always wore it out here when he worked on his meat.
No? And the blood on the brim?
Well, look around you for the answer to that one. Ole was proud of his larder. He just hung 2 quarters of beef the other day for aging. Right over there, see? It was fresh killed stock. Blood probably came from that.
Yeah, we'll have the blood tested anyhow. All right, Penner. You can go back now.
I walked away a little elated. Habit's a funny thing. It plays tricks, even on detectives. People are used to thinking of bodies as being so many feet long, with 2 legs, 2 arms, and a head.
Well, friend, this is your stuff, I guess.
Yes, this is it. I'm sorry I was such a poor traveling companion.
Oh, that's all right. Feel that way myself sometimes. Have some peanuts?
No, thanks. So long. Anna!
Oh, darling,
Oh,
darling. Oh, I'm so glad to see you. Everything went just as you said it would, didn't it? And now you're free.
Free, but not safe yet, baby. Don't talk here. Let's get in the station wagon first.
None of the papers believed our story, did they?
No, and it's just as well. Makes tonight's work easier.
But there are so many things I don't understand. Isn't there some other way we can...
No. And it's just as well you don't know everything, Anna. There's less chance of your making a slip.
Seems to me that I'm in this as deeply as you are.
All right. I'll tell you this much. The papers played up the fact that Ole had the final formula on his person when he was killed. The formula we thought was on the lab table, right?
Yes.
Well, that leaves 2 things I have to do. I have to search Ole's clothing for this thing, and, well, the other thing should be obvious.
Oh, don't, Richard. You talk about those things so coldly.
Well, it's a cold subject, isn't it? Now, I see the house now. Put your lights off. Did you make the phone call I told you to?
Yes, the man said all arrangements had been carefully made. He said the rest was up to you.
You wasn't kidding. Okay, pull up by the garage. Don't look around you as we walk into the house.
Oh, I'm not as calm as I thought I'd be.
You've got nothing to be afraid of, darling. Unless you believe in spirits.
Richard, let's do what has to be done and go.
Did you have that extra key made for the meat house?
Yes. Yes, here it is.
Good. Now, do just as I tell you. My life depends on it. You'll stand at the kitchen door with the lights off, and you won't take your eyes off the meat house for 1 second.
That's right.
The meat house door will be open so you can see me working. The lantern will make it light enough. Right now, I'm going to stand in front of the only window in the room we left the blind up on. While I'm there, you go get the dummy we had made to look like you. Put it in a chair in the position you're in now. That's it?
Yes.
All right, get the dummy. It's in the linen closet. Are you sure it's arranged naturally?
It looks a lot more natural and comfortable than I am.
Good. Now crawl below the window level into the kitchen. Set?
All set.
Here's the revolver. Now stay in the shadows while I light the lantern and leave. And then stand in the door as I told you to. And remember to watch the meat house. Scared?
Yes, but I'll do my part. Don't worry. Just be careful and hurry.
Well, this gruesome business will be over soon, baby, and it's worth it. What are a few days of this compared to what's in store for us?
I know. But hurry.
Well, this is it. Now I must work carefully. The meat house. Boy, this metal's cold. I'll bet Ole is, too. Now, let's see. Put the lantern here. So. And it's the 3 sacks on the meat hooks on the left side. seem heavier than when I put them up. I'll start on this one. My knife. Yeah, closer here. Now let's see. It'd be the inside coat pocket. Yes. Yes, here it is. Here's the...
You? Hello, friend. Have a peanut? You were on... That's right. I was on the train. I got on because you did. And I got off because you did. Small world, huh?
Yes, isn't it? Let's see. Didn't you say your name was Jasper Botts?
Yeah. Good memory you've got. I see you finally remembered where you hid poor Sventog's remains.
What do you want, Botts?
See? I can crack peanuts with one hand. Good, huh? Just telling you in case you think it might spoil my aim. For your little partner in crime sitting comfortably back in the house, waiting for you to finish your business here.
What do you want, Botts?
You and the formula, my friend. I followed your case very carefully. When I first read about you in the papers, I said to myself, now there's a very clever young operator. He's fibbing when he says he threw Sventog's body into the sea.
So?
So. Wouldn't take a chance on its turning up on some shore. That would convict you. No body, no murder, eh, fella?
You're right, Botts.
Then when I read that Sventog's formula was on him when you murdered him, I knew you'd have to get it from the body before, destroying the corpus delicti. Simple? Hmm?
All right, Botts. Put the cuffs on and let's go.
Oh, gosh. I see you don't understand. I'm not a detective. And you're not going anywhere. Anymore. All I want is the formula.
Oh? That's how it is.
Mm-hmm. That's how it is.
Why?
Why what? Why am I going to kill you? Because that's life insurance for him. My business. Why do I want the formula? Well, I tried to buy it from Sventog about a month ago. We knew we had it just about finished, but he turned me down.
So you read about the murder, figured out that I was after it, and now you want to take it away from me. It's pretty low, Botts.
Yeah. Well, you see, I can get a much better price for it than you can. Some friends of mine think it would be a valuable asset in counter-camouflage, making targets in this country. Clever, hmm?
Don't move a muscle, Mr. Botts. That little round thing in your neck is the muzzle of a .38. Just open your fingers very slowly and drop the gun. That's it. Now stand still. All right, Richard.
Good girl. Now I'm taking over, Botts. Nice Luger your friends gave you.
Mm-hmm. It is a nice gun. I hope you won't hang me on those hooks.
Oh, no. No, I've got other plans for you. Annie, you feel all right?
Yes, I'm all right. Just that thing on the floor.
Yeah, I know. Well, don't look, darling. We're going back to the house now. And look, Botts, no brakes, please. You'd make a heavy corpse to drag from here.
It's a very cozy little room. Tired and everything, huh?
Okay, darling, make your phone call.
Hello?
Hello, Mr. Walsh?
Yes, we've been watching. You've got him?
Yes, you can tell your men to close in on the house now.
That was Mr. Walsh of the FBI, friend.
Food piece of work all the way through, Richard.
Yes, sir. My first and last case, Walsh.
Well, we don't usually call on outsiders for help, you know, but this was such a natural. The Botts is apparently the man who's been dodging us so successfully. He's one of the Nazis' best men over here.
Slippery fellow.
Yeah. When you and Mr. Sventog came to us a month ago about the suspiciously high offer you'd had for the formula, it sounded like our man. He's got lots of dough to play with.
But why the elaborate story of murder and intrigue?
Well, making Richard here out to be a murderer took away the suspicion of a trap. We knew Richard would be released, no matter how phony the story he gave, because the police wouldn't find Mr. Sventork's body, of course. We knew the man we wanted would follow Richard here as soon as Richard was freed to get the formula. But we didn't have the slightest idea of what he looked like or who he was.
Now, you know. Well, I admit that was clever. My friends will be disappointed.
And the son of a gun sat next to me on the train for 8 hours.
A dull trip, wasn't it? But what about the meat house angle? The sacks.
That's beef. Just good prime beef. In sacks, it looks a little like I planted Ole's clothes there.
Oh, Richard, stop. I've had enough.
By the way, where is Mrs. Sventork?
Oh, my gosh, he came up here from the hotel this afternoon. I'm so used to thinking of him as dead that I forgot all about him. He's probably lost and in the... Anna, you all right?
Yes, I'm all right, Richard. It's just me up, but I... Richard! Richard, the laboratory!
All right, you still have the box, Mr. Walsh. Hold on to him. I'll take a look in the lab.
Go ahead, Tenant.
Ole! Ole, where are you? Ole! Ole.
Here, Richard. I'm all right. It's just my leg. Light a match so we can see.
Yeah, sure.
Hurry, Richard. I want to see what's wrong. Light a match.
I'm holding a lit match, Ole.
Oh. Oh. I see.
Your eyes, Ole.
Richard! Richard,
He's all right, Anna. I'm bringing him out now. He's all right, yes. But never again to see the red of a rose. The red of fire. The red of a sunset. The red of blood. Ole's formula brought color to millions. Now, he's blind.
No corpse? Oh, my. No corpse. Well, a corpse, man. Will somebody pass the peanuts? Listen, you. Yes, you over there. Are you sometimes green with envy? You ever go into a purple rage? Are you yellow? You are. Oh, well, don't worry about it. You've got what the writers call a colorful personality. Or maybe you're just a rainbow. By the way, this month's Inner Sanctum mystery novel is Puzzle for Puppets by Patrick Quentin. Well, now it's really time to close that there squeaking door until next week at this same time. So, good night. Pleasant dreams.
And so for now, we brush off Raymond, a friendly host of Inner Sanctum, a charming ghoul, responsible for tonight's bedtime story. Yes, let's shake that Inner Sanctum dust from our heels and point them in the direction of the green room and a quick listen at the door. Yes, our players are there, rehearsing the next performance in a mystery playhouse. Follow me, please. Come. Come. Come.